Hey guys, so I want to welcome you to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesdays. And today we're going to be talking about types of software. Types of software. So most of the videos that we've done so far are very high level, and this one is definitely a high level video as well too. But we've been alluding to the fact that software is sort of the answer. And it's one thing to tell you that software is the answer, but the problem with the market and altogether, in my opinion, is that there's just so many different types of software. Software is all over the place. There's a software powering this video right now. You're watching this on software, right? There's a software powering your smartphone. There's a software powering multiple aspects of your computer. There's software. There's software powering your car, right? So the point is that there's just multiple different types of software. So what I want to do is kind of bring it home a little bit and narrow it down to the types of software that we're specifically talking about, and just kind of give you some just high level direction in terms of what you should be looking for when you're trying to choose a software solution for your business. So let's start out with the two or most common software, the biggest one that you'll know, because I'm sure that you're using software for this, or I'm almost sure that, at least I'd say 99.9% sure that you're using an accounting accounting software. Okay, definitely using accounting software. QuickBooks, Sage, Business Vision, SAP accounting, whatever, you name it. There's a million of those software solutions out to the market, and you're probably using one of those that I mentioned. Okay, now accounting softwares are very common, and they're very good. We'll talk about them in a bit. But the other type of software that is more along the lines of what you need in terms of what we're discussing in terms of operational efficiency, business automation and stuff, and again, this is a big broad bucket category here. So we'll call it okay, in your case we'll say scheduling, HEDULING, scheduling, and operations, ATIONS, right? And another name for this for contractors, you could say field service, LD, field service, SRV. I'm just going to put for service. Okay, so field service software or scheduling and operation software. So again, very, very broad category here, but there's a huge difference between these two different types of systems. And then there's CRM systems, right? Third one. This is the number one outside of the accounting class, is CRM. All right. So this, again, not an exhaustive list by any means. That's not the goal here. The goal is to kind of talk about the software that you would primarily be using to help things move forward with your business. So let's talk about the accounting software very quick. The accounting software, so with these type of systems, they're kind of broken up into multiple things. The accounting software, they're tried and true systems. They know their business, and they're just things that they help to make your business be more efficient, and that's just what they do from a accounting standpoint. Okay, scheduling and operations. The goal of this class or field service is really just this is where operational efficiency comes into play. These are the software that are trying to help you move things forward with your business, get purchase orders out the door, work orders out the door, and stuff. And then CRM, the goal here is to help you to communicate with your clients. All right, so 3 different types of software. The goal is same, but there's a but. Okay, and the but is that this category is kind of broken up. This is how we see it, and this is how we position ourselves. So I'm just going to draw sort of a quadrant here to kind of explain how we see the sort of the industry and what you should be aware of when you're looking for software. So I'm going to put legacy over here, LEGACY, legacy soft, and then we're going to put accounting, ACC. I'm just going to put accounting for short, and then enterprise. ENTERPRISE. And then we'll put new, and then I'll put SB for small business. Okay, so this is how we see the industry, and I'm gonna challenge you to think about the industry and the software in this particular sector. So when you're looking for software, try to figure out whether it's within one of these buckets. And again, this is very general terms here. Not every software will fit perfectly within one of these boxes, but generally speaking, for the types of software that you'll be looking at for your business, they're going to fit somewhere within one of these categories. Okay, so the legacy software. I'm not going to name names here, okay? Just because, well, we're just starting to name names. We're not like that. So the legacy software, they are being around for 20, 30 years. Some of these companies, 40 years, 50 years even, huge YRS, okay? And you could figure this out. You could know very quickly what a legacy software looks like. Legacy meaning old-fashioned or outdated. So legacy software, let's talk about them for a bit. These guys, they have a desktop system, right? And the interface, there's like 100 buttons on the screen, and it's just clunky. And for you to do certain things, you just gotta click and click and click and click and click, and there's menu after menu and pop-up after pop-up after pop-up, right? This is legacy software. It was designed in an era where we weren't necessarily thinking about the aesthetics of software. We were just thinking about pushing out functionality, and so that's what you get, right? It's just an array of buttons all over the screen, and there's tons of examples of that. Just if you Google ugly software or ugly UX for UI or user experience, that's what it stands for, software design, oh my goodness, click on Google Images, like you will die with some of the systems that people are using out there. But that's legacy software. Now, you do not want to be running your business on legacy software in today's day and age. You just don't. The world has changed, and so has software, and this industry has, been left behind with software. Now, that being said, there are some things that you want in the legacy space, right? A classic example of software that's in the legacy space that's still working fine is banking software, sort of. There's a different conversation there, right? But, for the most part, they got IBM mainframes from way back when. They're still being maintained today, legacy software. But again, you're not a bank, right? You're not an enterprise level customer. So you want to stay away from this category for the most part because they're old-fashioned and they're outdated, all right? Now, the accounting systems, well, let's just say that the accounting systems, and I'll name some of these, QuickBooks, Sage, SAP, the list goes on and on and on. Accounting software, these guys, tried and true system, okay? They've been around for so long. Accounting is a very specific set of procedural task events that there's no real reason why you need to change this, plus or minus some changes. But for the most part, it's fairly consistent the way that you deal with accounting. Right now, some companies are trying to innovate in this space, but for the most part, as a business, there's a procedure there, and well, let's just say that it's not the ideal for what you're trying to do with your business. Okay. Now, that being said, I want to bring to your attention that both of these sections or divisions have, things to improve your business. Like, for example, legacy software, their goal here is, they have work orders, purchase orders, sales, quotation, the whole 9 yards. Right? They have every single feature that we, as a new software company, which we're going to talk about in a bit, will sell you or tell you. The difference is the procedures in which they deal with it is very, very clunky and old-fashioned. And same thing with the accounting software, right? Accounting software, if you open a QuickBooks right now, there's a quotation module in there, right? There's a work order module or a projects module. There's an inventory module. any one of these systems, they'll have these modules. So the real question is, what separates this from this? If you have a quotation and you have a quotation module, like how do I know the difference, right? Now, the reason why a QuickBooks has quotes inside of there is like if you're a really small business and you just need to send out a quick quote, you know what? And I'm already using QuickBooks for accounting, then why not just use the same software, right? And it's done. It's out the door. It's solved the problem, move on, right? But then when you get a little bit bigger and you really start getting into operations, back in the day, you would have used sort of a legacy software because it has more full featured solutions, right? So keep that in mind, okay? Now, I want to bring your attention over to the enterprise side of things. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this category over is because enterprise have some legacy software as well, okay? But they're also dealing with cutting edge stuff. Most of these companies, the Fortune 500 companies, are doing lots of research on how they could squeeze efficiency out of their workers, their processes. You talked about in the previous video about Six Sigma and Kaizen. Those are some process-oriented terms. Go back and look at those terms if you need to. But the point here is that enterprise, they're dealing with one company, multiple different divisions, departments, right? So there's software that is designed for the billing department, the marketing department, the HR department, right? Multiple different departments, huge departments. Some of these companies, 200,000 people, right? Who knows? Like really large companies. So the software that they use are extremely complex, right? Lots of moving parts, covering geographic regions globally and whatever. And so you got a very, very complex solution here. So, most of the softwares in this space, right? And you could identify them very clearly. They'll try to come and tell you that they have a small business solution version, right? They have a small business solution. The problem with this picture here is that the small business solution that they're trying to sell you, right, was really an enterprise level solution that they tried to scale down and give it, and give it to you. The problem with that though is that they're still thinking enterprise. So you get a software that from their perspective seems simple. Just click this button and it'll open up a work order and then you'll create an opportunity, and from that opportunity turns into a deal, which turns it, and you're like, what? I just want to get my quotation out the door to a customer and see some work orders and know how much, how my staff is doing, right? So the procedure is where they go wrong here, not for the enterprise, but for you as a small business owner. This is where this goes wrong, okay? So what you're seeing now in today's world is two things. One is a mobile first world, okay? Mobile first. And a cloud first. Okay? Mobile and cloud first. So the software that are in this space, what they're trying to do essentially is take lessons from the legacy system, take lessons from the accounting, take lessons from the enterprise system, and then build a solution around these tried and true methodologies, right, that are really focused on the fact that you have technicians that are constantly out on the road, but they have a mobile phone. And the fact that you want to go down to Florida or France or wherever you go for vacation, and you want to know what's going on in your business. So you want to still have access to every single thing within that business. All right. So this here is where we're focusing on as a software solution. SnapSuite, that's where we focus on. Now, there's a lot of competitors in that market, and we're probably going to do a whole segment about this notion here, because the difference, and I'll just point it out quickly since we're talking about types of software, the difference between our software solution and some of our competitors is that we recognize the fact that you actually have a manual process in your business. Now, not everybody has a manual process in their business, but the people that we're dealing with, man, they just got stacks of papers on their desk. And what these guys are trying to do here is just get them to go 100% paperless and not necessarily recognizing that they already have a procedure in place. So what we're saying is, you know what? Listen, buddy, we understand that you have paper. That's okay. You have papers. That's okay. will give you a systemized process to take that paper, get it into the system, and make it searchable so that you could find it at a later date. We could do, we could recognize if you want to write on a clipboard while you're on a job site, write on a clipboard. Don't use your tablet. Write on a clipboard. That's okay. Okay. Scan that. Take a picture of it. Scan it into the system. Right, via taking a picture with your or mobile app or even just your smartphone, and then just send it into the system, right? And we'll talk about how that works. But the point is that we'll do OCR. I'm using fancy terms here. Basically means we will be able to take computer technology and basically understand the handwritten notes that you put together. And you'll be like, wow, how do you do that? It was like, don't worry about that. That's not the details or the point that I'm trying to make. The point is we will think so that when you put that notes in our system, you could then go search it. So you don't have to go into some filing cabinet and look for that record, right? So we really, really, really focus on that manual process. And that's what differentiates, our company from the others out there. But I don't want to stray too far because I don't want to make this video about us. What I want to get to you is that types of software, you have to be aware of the different types of software because everybody has snake oil, right? Everybody has, a quotation tool and a work order tool, and they'll help you be more efficient, and they'll help your business, improve operational efficiency by 20% and yada, 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 right? Everybody's trying to sell you, but you as a business owner, you got to look at the market. You have to understand, okay, is this a legacy system? How long has this been around? Are you guys making improvements to it, right? And even some of the legacy systems are trying to make improvements. They can't move that fast. So they just think you're better off to start with a system that's basically cloud-based, that understands mobile first, that was designed for this generation, to move forward with your business. Most of you are going to take your business and you're going to pass it on to your sons or your daughters and whatever. You just want them to start in this region because it just makes sense, right? So anyway, I'm not going to belabor this point. This video is getting a little bit long, but I hope you've gotten some clarity in terms of the types of softwares that are out there. And again, this is an overview video, and I hope that makes sense to you. All right. So enjoy and stay tuned for another Whiteboard Wednesday. Have a great day.